Hello.
Hello.
Where in the world is everybody?
Hey, Miss McClellan.
Hey,
What did I miss on Friday?
you missed Socratic Circle where we just had
Good day, Miss McClellan.
Hi.
Yeah, you said discussion, not the one I missed.
What, LeBron?
You was talking about the little discussion thing. So what you guys was talking about?
We talked about all kinds of stuff to do with the first 3 chapters. It was actually a pretty good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No Alyssa, no Alexis. James is here. No Genesis. LeBron is here. CC. No Cade. Zane. Randall.
Miss McClellan.
Randall. Where are you? Why are you not here today? I saw your brother.
Yeah, because I woke up late. I mean, I didn't wake up late. I was already up, but I wasn't trying to come to the school.
I brought some brownies and was thinking I'd give them to you and Alyssa, and neither of you are here.
You can give it to me Thursday.
Send them to my folks.
Be good by then. We made them on Friday. I don't think they'll be good by Thursday. I'm gonna give them to some random kids at lunch.
Random kids.
Random kids.
Give it to Antoine to bring me it home.
I don't see him at lunch because, wait, what grade is he in?
He's in 7.
Oh yeah, I don't see him at lunch.
Hmm.
But maybe I will. Maybe I'll find him.
Okay.
Give him a bag and bring a bag home to you. They're really good. Miss Kathan and I made these from a recipe that her mom found, and it's like brownie mix with a caramel in it, and then cookies on top of it, and caramel drizzle and sea salt, and they're really good.
Yeah, you can give it to Miss Kathan. He's in her class.
I could. That's right. All right, Jenny's here. Here comes Alexis. All right. People are filing in just a little later than usual today. It looks like Alyssa's the only person not
She
here.
is here. Well, I mean, I saw her today.
You saw her today?
Yeah, in Zoom.
Oh. Alexis, any idea where Alyssa might be?
Alyssa, would you like to say to the class where you are?
I'm coming.
Okay.
Okay, she's on her.
Slow.
I am on my way over there actually, because I have to go and get my social security card, apparently.
Lads leaving their purse places.
So if I end up like leaving the class, I'm still on the phone with Alyssa and I can hear everything.
Okay.
And then like I'll join back in as soon as I get there.
Okay. I have no kids in person in this class today. It's insane. I mean, I don't really mind because I don't have to wear my mask, but
Hi.
hi. Alyssa, why are you not here in person today?
Because I'll be back.
Okay.
I was tired and it was hard to get out of bed this morning. So
Okay. Well, let's chat first of all. I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions just to like finish up some discussion from the other day before we move on and kind of look at some quotes that I wish I put into the Socratic Circle the other day, but I did not. Let me see, where's this? Maybe just this one, and then we'll move on. Maybe 2. There's the quote. I don't remember what chapter it's in right off the top of my head. Probably 2, where in the narration it says, it's talking about Xena, and says, though she was but 7 years her husband's senior and he was only 28, she was already an old woman. What does that mean? How is she an old woman even if she's only what is it? 35. Boy, it took me too long to do that
Old
math.
lady
She does old women things.
old lady tendencies.
What are old
Exactly.
lady tendencies?
Complain.
Okay.
Always want to argue with
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
Boring.
What'd you say, Randall?
So she kind of boring.
Well, I wouldn't call her boring. I would call her eccentric.
Eccentric.
Ethan seems to be bored by her.
Yeah.
He just can't rock with her like we rock with her. So
And then physically, how is she like an old woman?
and she just looks decrepit and old.
Yeah. What a horrible insult that would be if someone's like, you look decrepit. You're like,
Well,
all right.
She does. She like looks really bad. Apparently, her face is emaciated and all of that.
Yeah, he literally spends time saying like how ugly she is, basically. I don't know what that is, and I don't care either. Okay, one other quote that I wanted to talk about is when they're walking home after the dance, Maddie is looking up at the clouds and she says, "It looks just as if it was painted." And it seemed to Ethan that the art of definition could go no farther and that words had at last been found to utter his secret soul. What does that mean, or why would that be important?
I don't even know what that means, but
Let's say that again because I'm trying to think about that.
yeah,
She's looking at the clouds and says, "It looks just as if it was painted." And then in the narration, it says, "It seemed to Ethan that the art of definition could go no farther and that words had at last been found to utter his secret soul."
oh, he likes how she described the sky.
Mhm.
He thinks the way she described it was perfect, and that whatever she thinks art is, that's exactly what art is.
Yes, I'm gonna agree with Cece at the some of the last point. For me, I think he just like this is art in that moment. Like the moment she said those words, like that was that moment for him. It wasn't the sky, it was her words. Like that was art to him.
Mhm. And what
But
is it? What about when it says words had at last been found to utter his secret soul? What does that
his,
mean?
his inner, I don't want to say inner self. I think his deeper self. I believe
Okay. So he's like connecting with her
the
on
deeper level.
that. Okay. That makes sense. And I think you're on the right track there.
That's the guy who's cheating on his wife with her sister's cousin.
Yeah.
No,
So-
her sister, or I thought it was just her cousin.
His wife's cousin.
His
Yeah.
wife's cousin. My bad. Okay, thanks.
His sister's cousin would be his cousin.
Yeah, sorry. With his wife's cousin.
Yeah.
Still, it makes sense the way he described it. I'm still trying to get used to that whole thing. Like that's his wife's cousin,
Hmm.
and I'm not debating. I'm not debating with that with you, Cece, because you're gonna say like that's still wrong. I don't
Yeah.
see that. Again, I don't see what's wrong with it.
Mr. Nelson came in here the other day and he was like, "Tell me about this book you're reading where the person is like trying to be with his wife's cousin." And I explained it. And he didn't seem to think it was as wrong as most of us did, but he told me about some people he had worked with in New York where like at a bowling alley, because of course Mr. Nelson used to work at a bowling alley. And it was like, shoot, I'm not going to get it right. This couple was married and then one of them died and the other one married that person's sibling, and they had kids in both instances. So someone's brother was also their cousin. It just
Hey.
so convoluted.
Again, see, for me, I don't see it as bad. Just that bloodline is gonna be a little confusing, but hey, just deal with it. For me, what would be worse, and this is just for me, is the guy that macking on the girl. Like, let's say there was a married couple, the woman died, they were like in their 20s, and the guy go for the widow's mom who's single. That's worse
That's weird.
That's okay. Okay.
That's
Like
weird.
that's
Sure.
a lot worse than just like, oh,
We can
that's
all
my
agree
cut.
that that's weird, but
I feel like it is all the same type of weird. It's just
I agree that it's the same type of weird. But then with a
For me, I see it kind of worse and kind of concerning.
age. Well, I think we can all agree that it's messed up because he is emotionally cheating on his wife. However, we feel about it being with her cousin is beside the point.
Yeah.
I think we're
And for CC about that cheating stuff a long time ago, it was in different situation where he's doing is wrong because, well, the wife is sick. That one you can't control. That's not like I can't like justify like, no, what you're doing is wrong, and hey, your wife's sick, be with her.
yeah, agreed. Okay,
But the one in the crucible that can be justified.
I'm going to share my screen with you guys. We talked about doing some color symbolism stuff. And so I want to start getting into that. And to start, what we're going to do, we're just going to go through this list of colors and you guys tell me what kind of associations you have with this color. Like what kind of emotions or objects do you think about with this color? So let's start with red. What can red represent?
anger.
Anger. What else?
Love and lust.
Yes, for sure. I'm gonna include passion in that. It doesn't have to be like romantic passion, but can be. Those are all good.
Death.
I don't know about
Like blood.
Yeah, blood. Sorry, blood.
No, well, like when you said death, I was like, what? But I get what you're saying.
Badness.
Badness, like evil.
Let's go with that. For me, every time I think of madness, I always see the color red.
Oh, madness. I thought you said badness, and I was like, I'm not sure that's even totally a word. Hi.
No, madness.
How are you? You want me to put this on so you can come in?
Then you can put evil.
Oh, it's okay.
I don't know about evil being there. I think
Symbolism.
evil could go with like black or something.
I don't know. I see black more like a stillness color. Like it's the end. It's steady. Nothing moves.
All right. Well, then let's skip on to black for right now.
Oh, well then death,
That
obviously.
evil, death.
Yeah.
How can we boil down what you were saying into like a word?
Oh, the end.
The end. Okay.
The
Determined
void.
void. I like that. No real good representations there.
Comfort, because my favorite color is black.
Your favorite color is black?
Yeah.
My favorite color to wear for sure. But I feel like generally that's not an association we usually have with comfort.
No.
Ominous.
Ominous. All right. Well, let's go back up then. What about pink?
I got enough for pink. All I can say is like,
Happy.
really?
What
Yeah.
did you see?
Happy.
Happy.
Bubbly, bouncy.
Embarrassing, Mr. Nelson says.
Wait, what?
Pink cheeks when you get embarrassed. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know this. I'm dark skinned. Remember, we don't do that.
Yeah, no, the blood doesn't show up on our cheeks like that.
Well,
Symbolically, you say
yeah.
blush.
You can feel yourself blushing. It just doesn't show up as pink. I'm gonna go for the obvious one here, femininity. If I can.
Yeah.
Femininity. Got a lot of I's and a lot of N's in there. Anything else?
Exciting.
Exciting? Okay, I'll go with that. You know, that's one of my common associations too.
That brings back happiness.
Yeah.
Basically, remember like Blockbuster and watch practically like there's Blockbuster off range Blockbuster where you go a movie that had a single account, right? And
Yeah.
this place movies, they had cotton candy you could buy.
Yeah.
The movie was always very
Oh, that's so
cotton candy,
cool.
And there was blue and pink.
Yep.
And I always got the blue. That's my association.
I like it. And also kind of like there's like a childness. There's like a childhood thing with pink. I feel like pink makes you think of like little girls. I'm gonna say, oh, are you writing a poem about pink right now?
I don't see how you can write a poem with pink because every time I think of pink, I think of like cotton candy or something.
Well, that's exactly what we were just saying. Yeah, we talked about like cotton candy and like eating it in childhood. And Mr. Nelson said childhood, new beginnings. So I was like, you should write a poem about pink. Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Nelson. Go for pink.
He said he's gonna call it Tickle Me Pink.
Hey, man.
Isn't that already a color? Like
I
a specific kind of color?
think it's a Crayola crayon.
Yeah.
I don't like know how you say like
Pinkalicious, Miss McClellan, put that on there. That's a book. You should put that on there. That's a
I
staple.
will write that down. What kind of book is that?
It's about this little girl and she loves the color pink. And then she has like other colors that she wears, but it's mostly about her wearing pink. And she like gets to be like a fairy, and it's a really great book.
Okay.
It's like for 5-year-olds, but I remember that book, and that's all that matters.
All right, let's move on to white. What are the associations we have with white?
Oh, the wedding dress,
divine,
the wedding dress thing.
holy or divine.
What is the word? Not innocence. It's like innocence, but it's not that.
Purity?
Yes, that's the one.
I think it does definitely represent this as well. What? I heard someone. I don't know who it was.
Bright.
Right.
Milky.
Okay. There definitely tends to be a theme in a lot of literature and movies and everything else where, like we said, black is evil and white is good, or dark and light.
I was going to say light is more chaotic.
I think light is more chaotic.
Yeah, because if black is the color of just stillness, light is chaos because it's supposed to represent life.
Okay.
Think about it.
Dark black is death.
No, black for me is stillness.
I would say that though. And
More
I think it's
orderly.
important to recognize that we might have some individual associations with colors that aren't necessarily like the expected associations. Like for instance, I don't have yellow on this list, but I remember doing some color symbolism in a class one time where I think of yellow, and I think primarily like the associations people have with yellow is like bright, sunny, happy, that kind of thing. But this one person was like, yellow stresses me out so much. I feel like yellow is such an anxious color.
It is an anxious color.
Well, fair. Like, I don't think that's widely thought of as like the association that people have with it. But if you have individual associations with it, then like that's fine.
It's such a put in your face color. Like, just like orange.
My favorite.
Orange and yellow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I love like the color of my blanket. Those of you who have been in here and have seen my blanket, that's like my favorite color. Like a marigold or mustard yellow. I love it. All right, what about blue?
Relaxing, the sea.
Oh, go ahead.
Sadness.
Sadness. Yeah. It can have more than one thing. I mean, I feel like primarily if we look at black, for instance, it's all kind of like negative associations. Not every color is going to have one side of things. Like blue can be relaxing and peaceful, but it can also sort of represent sadness. Literally say, I'm feeling blue.
And when Alexis and I did the podcast for the Mask of the Red Death,
Mhm.
They were saying that blue could represent the beginning of life
Oh, okay.
instead of like white would be but also childhood as well for some reason. Don't know why, but that's what they say.
Reveal party.
What party?
Gender reveal party.
Oh, you know what? It's good that you said that though, because we have femininity for pink and traditionally masculinity is more blue. Do I think that's silly? Yes, of course I do. But that is what we tend to do, like for gender reveal parties. Which, by the way, did you see that about that guy who died during a gender reveal party?
Yeah, they had
No.
a mini cannon and it exploded in the
Oh
shrapnel.
my gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Was it a boy or a girl?
Or anything.
Yeah, was it a boy or a girl?
I think it was a boy.
Of
Oh
course.
boy, you should have done it outside in a way.
It was outside, but
Was
like something happened with it, like it misfired and he
No,
died.
no. Yeah, it had blew up and the shrapnels hit him.
Yeah, in his brain. I think he
Mm.
did die immediately. They went to the hospital, but yeah, he didn't make it.
That's so
It's a
terrible.
horrifying story, but also like gender reveal parties are dumb anyway. So.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like going to those because like this is actually kind of fun and I get free food.
I mean, anything for free food, right? But
I don't trust all people's food now. Like there are some people who just make you question, like if you looking like that, what is your food tasting like? Like that's what you gotta associate when you go out somewhere and you trying to eat somebody else's food. You gotta look at them and see how they smell. And if they smell funny or look funny, don't eat their food because
Yeah.
their food probably is nasty.
for
Oh my
sure.
gosh.
Sometimes kids bring food here, like stuff that they've baked for their teachers. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't always eat it because of who brought it. But Sarah O'Connor brought me some lovely cookies today, and I will totally eat those because I
Yeah, no, I trust Sarah.
was good at
I'm
baking.
not gonna lie, if I brought like 15 key lime pies, five of you guys would not eat that.
Most likely, yeah.
I don't really like
Probably
pie, so
I just don't eat all people's pie though, because not all people's pie is good. Because
Yeah.
there's a certain type of way to make it.
brought me something to eat, I would be sure it was poison, and I wouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
Hello, poison won't kill you.
Yes, it will. What?
Like, absolutely, it will.
All depend on the poison. All depends.
No, it's all what? No.
I mean, yes, there are some poisons that you can have a little bit of and it won't kill you, but it'll still make you very sick, and I don't want to do that either.
Right.
Or like, what's that stuff? Ipecac, that is a poison that just makes you throw up. It won't kill you, but it'll make you throw up.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I hate throwing up. All right, what about gray?
Gloominess.
What?
Gloominess.
Meanness? Is that what you said?
Gloomy. I said
Gloominess.
gloominess.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you forgot one more thing for blue. Mystery.
Mystery?
I
Yeah.
say white. White is mystery. With them airheads, they the white is.
Oh
always-
yeah. Did you know? Wait, Randall, do you know what the white airhead flavors are?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, and it may or may not ruin it for you. It just whatever how you feel. I still eat them. So the white mystery airheads are just all of like the gunk and stuff from the other colors mashed into one flavor. That's it.
That makes sense. That makes
Junk flavored. I love it.
Yeah, it's
that
junk
makes
flavor.
sense, though. That does make sense.
Delicious.
That make a lot of sense.
Leftovers.
It is exactly what it is. It's leftover candy.
Yeah. Gray.
Dull.
Dull. Yeah.
Mid-tone. It's a mid color. I don't know how to explain that. It's a mid though.
The lot gray, the most depressing and boring color.
Middle.
Very boring.
Boring.
Lifeless.
Looking for.
Oh, sometimes if it's silver, it's pretty.
That's true. Ooh, actually, Let's add a row in here and include silver.
Yeah. Pretty. Shiny.
Glory.
Metallic.
Honorable.
Honorable. Okay.
Dangerous.
Dangerous?
Yeah.
Why is silver dangerous?
Because like when they're like not superheroes, like agent women in like movies and stuff, it's usually like them wearing black or gray. And sometimes it's like a very metal gray, you know?
Okay. So maybe like mysterious.
All right, take the blue. Take that out of blue.
No, we're keeping it in blue.
Yeah, it can be both.
Sage or wisdom.
Okay.
Oh, I would say that would be green. I would say that would be green though.
I'll put I was gonna say gray because like if gray hair.
Yeah. If silver hair means wisdom, gray hair means old. That's what that is. And I have a bunch of silver hair. Just for
I
that
have a
reason.
few, that's why I dye it.
Oh no, don't dye it. Don't
I
dye
can't risk it. I can't risk it. Children never know how old anyone is. LeBron thought I was 40 last year.
Hey, hold up. I thought you were in your 40s. Don't blame me.
What do you mean don't blame you? That's
Really
exactly why we should
like,
blame you.
100% your fault.
That is exactly your fault.
Hey.
No, she's not 40. She
Don't
doesn't
blame
even
me.
look Miss McClellan doesn't even
Unless she was,
look
like,
remotely
25.
40.
And also, I know a lot of women that are in the 40s that look like Miss McClellan. My
Well,
fault.
that's a little insulting. Miss McClellan, it's okay.
Not
You look
talk
like
about
you're in your late 20s. Don't listen to him.
Hey, what's wrong with Bill being 40?
Miss McClellan looks
just
exactly her age, though. That's what it is. She looks exactly like her age, if not like a little bit younger. So it's okay, Miss McClellan. I got you. I got your back. He don't understand. It's a woman thing. He don't understand. He won't
Oh,
understand.
God dang, my fault.
Okay, what about green?
Royalty. Oh,
Royalty.
and dangerous
That'd be purple.
death. And here's why for green death. Because they made a color like it was a long time ago, like a really long time ago, and it was like a really deep green, and that's why it's my favorite color. But it was because of they made it with arsenic, and so people were putting it all on their clothes and all in their like hair and their eyes, and just to make themselves look green. And then they all died because they kept using that green, and the fumes from the arsenic were getting into their lungs and everything. So death. That is a reasonable one.
You know what? I'm gonna go off on that one a little bit because if you think about like villains are often associated with green, like the Wicked Witch or the evil
goblin.
A
The
lot of
goblin
times
from
it will be like green light
Spider-Man.
and it represents
Yeah. Wisdom.
why wisdom.
Well, because when my mom does these tarot readings and things like that, usually the good cards that have to do with knowledge usually have green on them.
Okay. I think I like knowledge better than wisdom for this one. Actually, what class it wasn't this class. We were talking about the difference between knowledge and wisdom and kind of said that like knowledge is what you learn from books and from experience, but wisdom is like how it changes you and your mindset.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Nature.
Nature. That's one of the ones I was gonna go with. I feel like with nature, there's sort of this like spring and new life kind of association. There's one more that I'm thinking of. I'm green with
envy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other ones for any of these colors that you feel like are important to add?
Green sour.
Sour. Okay, like sour, like green apple.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these are really like different. I think that might have been your brother, but I couldn't tell. Like within the one color, there can be really different associations. let's think about the novel, and it's totally okay if you don't remember every single color reference in the novel. But we've definitely seen a couple so far.
Oh, the red with her hair, and like he describes her hair like a scarlet red.
Well, she's wearing a red ribbon. I think she's blonde or is she dark headed? I can't remember. But she's got a red ribbon in her hair.
The white for the snow and the
Yep.
town. The I think it was like the dull gray of like the stone on the walls or something like that. It was describing the building.
There's a really obvious one for this. Do you guys remember?
I was thinking of the glistening in the snow too for that one.
Oh, we can do that.
The moonlight, the moon, the glistening. Wait, do they say that? No, I'm just making that up, I think.
Yeah, they do. Maybe you guys have forgotten her name is Maddie Silver.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot that.
I can definitely think of another one for this. She's also wearing a red scarf, so red seems to be a thing with her.
I gotta ask, is it me or red is just one of those colors that stands out the most?
Say it again.
I said, I gotta ask, is it just me or is red the color that stands out the most?
No, 100%.
Or like just of colors.
Red, orange, and yellow are the three colors that stand out the most to me. They're so weird.
I always thought red, like when you see a redhead, you see the hair, not the face. You always see that dang hair. A red scarf, a red shoes. Some of the color red for me always stands out.
And it's used a lot in color symbolism. Have you guys seen the movie The Sixth Sense?
Yes.
That was maybe, and I don't know how old I was when that came out. I remember having it on VHS and watching it like in high school. So I'm sure it came out, when I was a kid. But that's the first time I actually remember learning about color symbolism, because I guess I watched like an interview with the director or something, and he talked about the use of red, and like red obviously in this case being like blood and death. But there were like all of these uses of red, either like the kid's sweater or the doors on the church. I think there was a red balloon at some point.
What movie was it where they tried to keep red out as much as possible? There was
The Village. Is
The
that
Village.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Probably. Most likely.
That's also the same director, M. Night Shyamalan, that did The Sixth Sense. And the whole thing is like red is the bad color and yellow is the safe color. And so like they have to like keep red out as much as they can, and then like dress in yellow cloaks and stuff when they're out in the woods.
And that's a big one too, the red. There's one movie, and I watch it, I think like all the time, where they're like, oh, we have to keep red out as much as possible. And a kid do something, and I cannot remember what it is.
I don't know. That's interesting though. I'd be curious to know.
Well, for me, when I watch like horror movies or read a horror comic or manga, whatever that, they always portray red as a color of madness. When someone goes insane, you see that color first. When someone gets angry, you see that color. Even me, when I get angry, I see that color first. That's the first color I always see.
Oh, really? Because I black out, so.
You see black first. I see red.
I mean, to be fair, those are both two like phrases that people use when they talk about getting angry: seeing red or like having a rage blackout.
Oh my God. One time in science, Miss Merkelis was like throwing us candy, right? And Max was sitting in front of me. And this was during the time where, because me and Max always had an on and off relationship. It was always like either good or bad, either good. It was just nowhere between. and we were having a good relationship that day. And he was sitting in front of me, and Miss Sprinkles threw me the candy, and he took the candy midair from me, and I literally did not react like I was supposed to and like tell him to give it back. I literally like smacked him in the back of his head, and I was like, give me my candy back. And he was like, why did you do that? And I was like, do what? What are you talking about? And he was like, you hit me. I was like, I probably did. Give me my candy back. Like, I don't remember.
I was having a rage blackout. I didn't know. Okay, well, I want you guys to be thinking about this. It definitely, there's some color symbolism later on. There's a lot of instances of red in this novel in particular. I think obviously white and gray are kind of big ones just because of like the landscape being so sort of, in fact, I'm gonna include that. I don't know if they mentioned that, like those words together, landscape. What am I doing? But everything just looks kind of gray and dull in Starkfield. So as we continue reading, if you guys pick up on it, remind me and I'll add it to our chart here. But we're gonna start reading the next chapter, which is chapter 4, I think. We're getting on in this book. Come on. Sorry. It probably looks to y'all like I'm doing an insane thing, but
For some reason, I feel like Xena, like her name is like associated with like red or orange hair. Like that's what I thought. Like, you know, I don't know
I don't
why.
know what her name means because I've literally never heard of anyone else named that before.
Zenobia? No, well, that sounds like a medieval princess name.
It kind of does. Yeah, I agree.
Actually, hold on. Zenobia?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for me, you can chop it up to two. Somewhere near the West African area or a little bit in Russia.
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
You have to look it up. Okay, so we're gonna start reading chapter 4, and just to kind of remind you guys, since it's been a few days, and we will not get through chapter 4 today, I'm sure. Where we left off, they were talking about Xena is going to Bettsbridge to see this new doctor, and Ethan's like, "Oh, I get a couple of days alone with Maddie, hot dog." But he tells this lie about how he has to stay to pick up this cash from Jotham Powell, and it's not true, which is probably going to cause an issue if he's like expecting to get this money. He may or may not be able to get it. So this is kind of where we're picking up when Xena leaves. We've only got 10 minutes to read. Anybody want to read?
Yes.
Okay.
As soon as his wife had driven off, Ethan took his coat and cap from the peg. Maddie was washing up the dishes, humming one of the dance tunes of the night before. He said, "So long, Matt," and she answered gaily, "So long, Ethan," and that was all. It was warm and bright in the kitchen. The sun slanted through the south window on the girl's moving figure, on the cat dozing in a chair, and on the geraniums brought in from the doorway, where Ethan had planted them in the summer to make a garden for Maddie. He would have liked to linger on, watching her tidy up and then settle down to sewing, but he wanted still more to get the hauling done and he be back at the farm before night. All the way down to the village, he continued to think of his return to Maddie. The kitchen was a poor place, not spruce and shining as his mother had kept it in his boyhood, but it was surprising what a home-like look the mere fact of Xena's absence gave it. And he pictured what it would be like that evening when he and Maddie were there after supper. For the first time, they would be alone together indoors, and they would sit there, one on each side of the stove, like a married couple. He in his stocking feet and smoking his pipe, she laughing and talking in that funny way she had, which was always new to him, as if he had never heard her before. The sweetness of the picture and the relief knowing that his fears of trouble with Xena were unfounded sent up his spirits with a rush, and he who was usually so silent whistled and sang aloud as he drove through the snowy fields. There was in him a slumbering spark of sociability which the long Starkfield winters had not yet extinguished. By nature grave and articulate, he admired recklessness and gaiety in others and was warmed to the marrow by friendly human intercourse. At Worcester, whatever, though he had the name of keeping to himself and not being much of a hand at a good time, he had secretly gloried in being clapped on the back and hailed as Old East or Old Stiff. At the cessation of familiarities had increased the chill of his return to Starkfield.
I'm gonna pause for just a second, just to say, number one, I hate that. I hate that he's like playing house in his head and being like, oh, we're gonna be like a married couple tonight, sitting by the fire with our socks and whatever. I'm just like, I hate that. Why don't you do that with your own wife?
Well,
This is something I hate. Every guy we all
I'm here.
Hi,
I'm back.
welcome.
dog out of me. I'm not gonna lie, this is one thing every guy did or woman or whatever, but some guys we do the most. That's something I feel bad for this guy because like this is not gonna play if you're fantasizing that much.
Yeah, agreed. He's building it up in his head so much. But that being said, I also kind of feel bad for him right here, not because he's playing house in his head. I hate that. But here where he's talking about like when he was at school in Worcester, even though he was always like kind of shy and quiet, kept to himself, he was really well liked. Like the way he talks about, oh, people like clapped him on the back and were like, old Eth or old Stiff. And they, everybody seemed to like him. And he just felt like he didn't have that anymore. And basically felt like he's just not a big deal anymore. And that sucks. Like you want to feel like you're a big deal. You want to feel like people like you and that you matter in some way. And he just feels that like since he left college, he has a life that doesn't matter. And I do feel bad for him. Does that mean I forgive him for everything he's doing? No. But I think there are some moments where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, your life does suck and I hate that for you. Well, let's get
There the silence had deepened about him year by year. Left alone after his father's accident to carry the burden of the farm and mill, he had no time for convivial loiterings in the village. And when his mother fell ill, the loneliness of the house grew more oppressive than that of the fields. His mother had been a talker in her day, but after her trouble, the sound of her voice was seldom heard, though she had not lost the power of speech. Sometimes in the long winter evenings, when in desperation, her son asked her why she didn't say something, she would lift a finger and answer, because I'm listening. And on stormy nights when the loud wind was about the house, she would complain if he spoke to her. They're talking so out there that I can't hear you. Okay. It was only when she drew toward her last illness, her cousin Zenobia Pierce came from over. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. We got to take time out on this. I can't even.
I don't
You're saying
if it's like his first cousin. It doesn't say.
Miss
And people
McClellan.
did kind of tend to say like their whole families were like they just called them cousin.
That's not how that works.
Now, to be fair, I come from a big Southern family, and like,
well, yeah, everybody does that.
People and that I like family members that I don't know, and they'll just automatically be like,
I'm your cousin. Yeah, I know that makes sense. But that's not what they mean. I know that's not what they mean. There's no way.
She's his relative, at any rate.
That's wrong. It was the only when she drew toward her last illness and his cousin Zenobia Pierce came over from the next valley to help him nurse her. The human speech was heard again in the house. After the mortal silence of his long imprisonment, Zena's volubility was music in his ears. He felt that he might have gone like his mother if the sound of a new voice had not come to steady him. Zena seemed to understand his case at a glance. She laughed at him for not knowing the simplest sickbed duties and told him to go right along out and leave her to see things. The mere fact of obeying her orders, of feeling free to go about his business again and talk with other men, restored his shaken balance and magnified his sense of what he owed her. Her efficiency shamed and dazzled him. She seemed to possess by instinct all the household wisdom that his long apprenticeship had not instilled in him. When the end came, it was she who had to tell him to hitch up and go for the undertaker. And she thought it funny that he had not settled before him who was to have his mother's clothes and the sewing machine. After the funeral, when he saw her preparing to go away, he was seized with an unreasoning dread of being left alone on the farm. And before he knew what he was doing, he had asked her to stay.
Oh, sorry.
There with him. He had often thought since that it would not have happened if his mother had died in spring instead of winter. When they married, it was agreed that as soon as he could straighten out the difficulties resulting of Mrs. Fromm's long illness, they would sell the farm and sawmill and try their luck in a large town. Ethan's love of nature did not take on the form of a taste for agriculture. He had always wanted to be an engineer, to live in towns where there were lecturers and big libraries and fellows doing things. A slight engineering job in Florida put in his way during his period of study at Worcester increased his faith in his ability as well as his eagerness to see the world, and he felt that with a smart wife like Zena, it would not be long before he made himself a place in it.
Okay, so we're gonna stop there because we've only got like 3 minutes until the bell. But I think we learned quite a good bit right here. Why does he marry her in the first place?
Because he didn't want to be alone.
He didn't want to be alone. And why? What can she do for him that puts her above any old person in the town?
Cook, clean, comfort, talk.
All that stuff. Yeah, she really takes care of him, and she was there for his family when his mother was sick. And
so he didn't even love her in the first place.
He what?
He didn't even love her in the first place.
Probably not. Like I think it indicates that he was proud to have her because she at this point is really competent. Like she can handle anything. And even to the point where like she's sort of condescending to him, like, oh, silly guy doesn't know anything about how to do these things, like household stuff and taking care of like all his mom's possessions. And I mean, particularly in grief, and I'm speaking from experience here, in grief, if you have somebody who can just like handle stuff for you, it's so helpful and like it really makes you value that person. And so maybe he didn't love her, but he really appreciated her. And sometimes I suppose it probably felt like that was enough. Like years and years later, he seems to realize that it wasn't. But she's so competent and she can handle all of this stuff. I feel like young Xena, I'm kind of on her side because I respect a woman who knows her stuff. But, also he's a grown man, and should he have to be taken care of this much? I don't know.
Wow.
Now that is questionable.
It's questionable. And I think he had this whole different idea of what life would be like. I mean, it even says there at the end, shoot, I'm gonna finish my like 2 sentences. That he had wanted to be an engineer and like have sort of a big life, big libraries, go to Florida with him and his smart wife, and that didn't happen. And so I know that life hasn't turned out the way he'd hoped it was, but also I think this is a very interesting sentence. He had often thought since that it would not have happened if his mother had died in spring instead of winter, but she did. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. And we'll talk about Wednesday success sessions and stuff tomorrow too. But I got to let y'all go because I got to go to lunch duty. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.